We'd like to welcome our audience to our next podcast of
Life in Stereo with your host Stephen Stone and co-host Steve Gibbons.
Right. I'm the co-host, Brian, so I just get him his water and, you know, help him through he's a good guy. Before we start talking to our special guest here, just wanted to mention to the audience about our agency. Right now, we're coming to you live from the Individual Advocacy Bloomingdale, Illinois, Day Training Center. We serve 70 people. So outside that door, Brian, we have like 70 people, most in wheelchairs, etc., that come here on a daily basis. Our agency is called Individual Advocacy Group, and our website is www.iagcares.org. It'll tell you where we service people. We service people all through Illinois, downstate, Peoria, Springfield. We even have houses in Maryland and DC.
Although combining all this area's houses, I wonder how many people we serve combined for.
We serve a lot of people. We have like 800 employees.
With Bloomingdale and here.
Right, 140 total.
Really?
Yes. Wow. So that's our people can go there, see what we do. There's a spot to donate and a special events, which we have one coming up, Steve.
The Arrowhead Golf Course, the September 3rd Wheaton Golf Outing.
Yeah, we have our IAG regular annual golf outing, 9/3/26 at the Arrowhead Golf Club in Wheaton, Illinois.
Wheaton.
We are also proud to be sponsored by Mike More Miles of Romeoville, Illinois Auto Repair, located at 652 North Independence Boulevard in Romeoville. Call my friends Nick Burns, Melvin Strong, and owner Enzo at 815-886-5700 for all of your auto service repair needs. They offer an oil change for $39 plus tax, regular oil, synthetic $69 plus tax up to 5 quarts. Tell them Steve and Steve from Life in Stereo sent you there, and we don't get a kickback. They'll take care of you then.
Shout out to Conrad Hartley, by the way, too.
Okay.
If that's.
We also go on outings, Brian. We take people to different places, record stores, motorcycle shops, the zoo,
restaurants,
out to lunch. We try to do a lot here.
Movies sometimes.
Movies, right. So today we are very privileged. I'm happy.
Yeah.
We're so indebted to our next guest here, lead guitar player for one of my favorite all-time bands, Kix. And thanks for coming on, Brian. Thanks for your time. We know you're a busy guy. Oh, I mentioned Kix, but also lately I've been getting into Rhino Bucket. Those are fantastic albums. I was listening to all of them, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Brian, thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, believe me, we're privileged. So, can you let us know? I did a little reading, some of your early influences, even at 3 or 4 years old. Johnny Cash. Can you tell us about?
That's gonna be interesting.
That's one of his favorites. Whenever he says, "Whoa," then you've hit a spot.
I'm into old country. You can tell that
he's into old stuff. So tell us about your early influences.
Well, my parents were into music. Well, listening to music anyway. So there's always a lot of music around the house, and one of my earliest memories is that Johnny Cash Greatest Hits record that had Draw the Line, and I mean not Draw the Line.
Walk the
Line.
There you go.
Walk the Line and Ring of Fire and all that stuff on there. And it made a big impression on me. I mean, I was maybe 3 years old, but at that age I loved music. I couldn't get enough of it.
So you kind of knew where you were headed, even by 3 to 4 year old.
Well, I didn't realize I was going to be able to play music, but I definitely enjoyed listening to it. It was there was a cool kind of a mix between my mother and father as far as musical tastes. My father was he was all over the place. He loved like jazz because they grew up during the Depression, and
Hmm.
so he liked jazz and stuff, but he also, I mean, he was so open-minded. I remember later on, when when I was in high school, I'd come home and he'd have one of my, like, a Robin Trower record playing,
Nice.
and I'd go, wow. But my mother, she was, I guess they were pretty much the same, except she wasn't so much into the jazz thing, but she'd go. I mean, she listened to country. She listened to whatever was on the radio. And later on, she used to go to the store and come back with, she'd go to the budget bin at the records at the well, like
Yeah,
at the
me
department
too.
at the department store, and she'd just pick out stuff that looked cool for cheap, and she'd bring it home, and that's how I discovered like Steppenwolf and
Nice.
even the Who. She was the one that introduced me to the Who.
Mm.
But so yeah, so early on, it was like I don't know, it was wide open, and of course, then soon after that, the Beatles came along when I was
Hmm.
around 5 or 6. No, I think I was 5.
And they just blew open the door.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
blew it open, right? Yeah, the Beatles. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Ed Sullivan thing and I was like,
You and
man,
I must be sort of, I'm 68. You must be around there, right?
exactly same age.
Okay, because I was sitting in front of the TV when the
Yeah.
Beatles came. I was like, "Oh, what the
Yeah.
heck is this?
What the?
This is great."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about 5 or 6. Yeah. Are you coming to us from where? Maryland today, or where?
No, I'm just right outside of Nashville.
Oh,
Oh,
all right. One of
Tennessee
our
guy.
favorite
Spots.
spots. We have some guests, the DOG. I don't know if you ever heard of them down there, but there's so much talent in Nashville. It's
I
crazy.
know. I know. You
So
can go
we
to
had, I saw you, the Beatles, Foghat, Allman Brothers, Stones, of course,
yeah.
that all of your early influences.
Influences.
So you and I are kind of similar in that
And
effect. I
ironic,
love that poster in the back too, that kicks. Wow.
Yeah,
and
Cool.
that's
we
actually it's a painting. My brother painted that.
Really?
Yeah, he's a
Wow.
sign painter. He does pictorials.
Okay. That
And
is cool.
yeah.
Really cool. So how about your early bands? I read about the Shoes, was that, or you can tell us, what are some of your early groups?
Well, even before the shoes, well, I don't know if they counted, but like I started playing was it junior high? No, I guess it was high school. I started playing in bands and we would go through we'd change our name every time we'd get a gig. Like
really?
just because we couldn't decide on anything. Like I remember one time we didn't have a name yet, and we were supposed to play this Coke hour at school in the cafeteria, so we had to come up with a name, and and I wanted to call it Hot Wiener on a Cold Bun. and,
Okay, that's just
That's a good name. I like it.
the other guys said we can't do that, so then we ended up we just called it Cold Sweat for that gig, and then we eventually settled on Vanilla Grass once the band got going. But
Did that Cold
but
Sweat, did that relate to the song by Kix at some point or no?
no, that was a James Brown song.
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
James
So
Brown, one of your early influences, huh?
yeah,
So how did you get involved with Kix? 1981, correct?
well,
Okay.
actually, the very beginnings of Kicks, which was the Shoes at that point,
Okay.
was December '77. That's when we initially got together.
77, huh?
Oh, so that means that they were around, or the early version was around when sticks were kind of a big thing.
Steve
Yeah.
always likes to mention sticks. I don't know. He loves sticks, but I tell him I don't know about sticks. But
Or as you always call them, gout,
yeah,
but
so
or not really gout, but
I'm not a big sticks fan, but
teach his
if
own.
we get them on, well. But anyway, continue with the story, Brian. Sorry.
Well, we even before that, w- once I once I got out of high school, I was playing in this band. We relocated to Florence, Alabama for like 8 months. It seemed like forever, but it was only 8 months. So we were right outside of Muscle Shoals and all that. You know, it was this was mid 70s, around 75, 76. So that's really where I learned to play because we used to gig and gig and gig and playing all covers like any we played everything from country to disco to rock. Like we did everything. Like we played Casey and the Sunshine Band, we'd play Freddie Fender, we'd we played the Stones, we played Aerosmith. I mean, the Eagles. So it
Wasted
was
days.
A little bit of everything, yeah.
yeah, and that's sort of how I learned to play, just learning all those different styles.
And well, since we were talking about country, and we got to mention Linda Ronstadt, and that's funny you mentioned the Eagles because Linda Ronstadt's backing band were the Eagles before they were the Eagles.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to love
So
her too.
I
Yeah,
did
she
too.
was, she's great,
She's,
yeah.
she's one of the most underrated talents
Yeah,
in
she is
music.
fantastic.
And her band was great
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, at one point, when we were down there in Alabama, we were playing at this club,
Mhm.
and in the this in Sheffield, and Hank Williams Jr. showed up that night, and
Wow.
he was looking
Whoa.
he was looking for he wanted to change his style from country to country rock because country rock was huge at the time. So he's looking for a new backup band. So he auditioned us, and he got up there. He got up and sat in with us for several songs. But it was kind of a nightmare because it was before he got sober. So he was
Oh, so he was plastered.
yeah, and he grabbed the other guy's guitar player, the second guitar player who played a Strat, and I was trying to follow along, and he started playing, and he was just strumming really hard and singing, and I mean he sounded good for a while, and
I
then
mean,
the
it's the
guitar started going out of tune because it was a Strat, and my bass player was following the chord changes, and after a while he couldn't even tell what chord he was playing. It was just a mess. So anyway, we
so
barely got through that.
and what year was this?
It was 76.
This was after his rock climbing
Oh,
accident.
yeah, yeah. In fact, he just recovered from that and was
Oh,
just in getting going again. That's why he was looking to change his whole sound at that point.
okay.
There's something about Hank Jr. that he doesn't sound like his dad, but he kind of does.
Yeah, he's got a way deeper voice for one
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, he's good. I like him. So continue on with kicks, or how does that form? And
Yeah, so December 77, I got together. Well, I ran into Ronnie at a late night 7-Eleven. I've told this story a million
yeah,
times.
I did read that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was him and Donnie were putting together this band, and they were looking for another guitar player. So he asked me if I was interested, and at that point, um, it was like, wow, do I want to like I had gone out for an audition for Ronnie's band because he I heard he was leaving his band, and his band was this established cover band that had gigs, and they were playing. They played all the time. So I was thinking, well, do I want to do this new thing with Ronnie, and start from scratch, or do I want to join a band that's already up and running? So, I had to think about it. Um, and the next day, the drummer called me and talked my ear off, and he talked me into it. He said, at least give it a try. So they came to my parents' basement because I was still living at home at that point. I think I was 20 years old, and so they came to my mother's basement and we set up, and the first song we jammed on was Atomic Bombs, and I was
Yeah.
Atomic
right
Bombs.
then I was like, wow, this is great. This is an original song, and it's so good. Because usually when you go hear a band back in those days, there'd be all these bands playing cover songs, and then they go, oh, here's one of our originals, and it would be the worst song of the set. So
And
it's
I think you did say when in what I was reading that you said Kix was basically born in your parents' basement, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially.
And we used to, play covers in the early days because that's the only way you could get gigs. So, I mean, but we always mixed in the originals with other songs, and so people didn't was they weren't aware that they weren't cover songs. So yeah, so from that point, we had a different singer at first. We had a couple different singers before we found Steve. So I'd say 78, somewhere mid 78, we found Steve, and then
What a find that was, right?
yeah, yeah.
How did you come up with finding? Can you name everybody else in the band before we keep going? I know Donnie and Ronnie. Uh,
Yeah, the very first version, the drummer was this guy named Donnie Spence, who was the brother of my future ex-wife. um,
Mm.
but he didn't. It's well, actually, when we got Steve, Steve was a drummer. He was a drummer in a band, and we went up to Cumberland, Maryland, to see him. So he came down. He'd never been a front man before, so he didn't know what to do. He was
wow,
really he was really
Well,
uncomfortable.
I,
wow.
I can bet that the whole ex-wife thing was an interesting conversation at the dinner table.
Right.
Well, by the time we got rid of the drummer,
He was, yeah, it was already past. Yeah.
yeah, but him and Steve used to switch out. Like he'd come out front, and Steve would go back on the drums. So it was this cool thing at first. Then we got Jimmy, and we had finally the full lineup right at the end of 79.
Okay.
And then we got a record deal around 81
Okay.
Who was the record deal with?
with Atlantic.
Oh,
Atlanta, oh,
oh,
big time.
big
Yeah,
oof. Ray
yeah,
Charles was on Atlantic for years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Atlanta is so now I read, okay, so you liked at first when you guys got the record deal, then it was recording, touring,
Yeah,
just
so it's basically Beatles all over again.
just recording and touring, right? Just
Right.
it's
Yeah.
got that's
N-
tough though, right?
Hardly a day off.
Jeez.
Wow, that's something. And then by the second album, uh, you guys didn't like that second album, correct? Is that what I read about? Cool
Well,
Kids.
the reason why
Oh, cool
the
kid.
first
That was
record,
their second record. The first record was Kicks.
yeah,
Right.
that one.
Second was Cool Kids. Yeah, that's the first.
Yeah, what happened there was, they signed we got signed off of a live cassette. We used to record the shows at the soundboard in a cassette deck. We just stick a cassette in, and our manager started sending those out because he said, well, because we sent the proper demo, and everybody turned us down. So he started sending this live thing because he said it captured the energy of the band, and that's how we got signed.
Okay. I've always said now, like I said, I've seen you guys probably 5 times, I would say, over my life, and it's like the records are good, very good, blow my fuse, fantastic. But when you see Kicks live, it's like, oh my God, just totally blow you away. To me, anyway, that's my.
Who were your label mates at the time?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. That was
Who else was in Atlantic? Was Zeppelin on Atlantic for a while?
I think
yeah,
they
but they ended up having their own
yeah,
label.
Before Swan Song, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were on, but that was, yeah, when we got signed to Atlantic, I just remember, I could see the record label and
Right, the yellow and green and yeah.
yeah, all those, growing up,
I
putting albums on, seeing that going around. It
Yeah,
was
I
like,
want to say Aretha
that's
Franklin. I
cool.
want to say Aretha Franklin was
At-
Atlantic member.
Atlantic was huge.
yeah,
Totally huge.
If you want to
yeah.
talk about one
In
of the most,
fact,
if
the
you want to
first,
talk, sorry, if you want to talk about one of the most essential record labels, Atlantic is it.
Right, Atlantic is it. You guys got signed to a big label.
and AC/DC.
AC/DC, right, that's right. Okay. So then you didn't like that album, but then it would blow my fuse, everything kind of fell into place, right?
Well, then there was also Midnight Dynamite in between there.
Okay.
So,
Great song too.
well, the thing was, well, getting back to the getting signed off of a live thing. So the first record, they sort of just let us do our thing in the studio, um, and they didn't really mess with it that much. And then, so when the second record came around, they started pushing for singles and more commercial, and that I think that's why we got done with that record, and it was right before Pyromania came out.
That
Definitely,
was when
and
Decca was under producer Lang, of course.
yeah, and we heard the final mixes of Pyromania before it came out. Our A&R guy from Atlantic came down. We recorded the second record at Criteria in
The
Miami.
Criterion Studio. Oh,
Criterion Studios, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a big name studio too.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
All
yeah.
kinds of people were there. But anyway, uh, he came down during our final mixes and stuck the Pyromania tape in and said, "Oh, you got to hear this." And we heard this big rock record, and we thought, "Man, what did we just do?
And
We
that's
just
the
we just did this wimpy little commercial record set. Well, most there was a couple rock songs on there, but for us, it didn't quite cut it. It didn't sound like us.
That's a good story.
Do you have any like interesting road stories with any of the big names you've toured with?
Ah, man.
You guys open sometimes for some big bands, I know.
Yeah, the
Kiss,
very
maybe?
who?
Kiss ever? No?
Yeah, once.
Yeah, okay, I
And
thought so. Okay.
that was an interesting story. Um, that was when they didn't have their makeup on.
Okay.
Oh, that
It was
was
dur- it was during that
Unmasked.
period.
free.
Yeah, and we did this show in Pittsburgh, and it was funny because we were in Houston. We were playing a show, and then we had a day the drive to Pittsburgh
Was it
because
at the? I'm assuming it was at what used to be the Igloo. I would assume
I don't know what the venue was.
because
Oh, the old Penguin, where the Penguins played?
yeah.
It was probably that big, right? Maybe?
Yeah, it was a big place.
Yeah,
So
okay.
probably that was it.
Probably.
And I remember going down to catering before the show, and I was all decked out, and that was like the height of the glam days and stuff. And we walk in there, and Gene Simmons was in there with his wife, and I remember she kind of looked over at me, and I had like black fingernails, and it's weird, she goes, "What is that?" Like just like repulsed, and and Gene Simmons actually like took up for me, and he goes, "No, that's the thing these days." But coming from somebody that Kiss,
I want to
that's
see
the
You would think,
ultimate.
yeah, right,
You know,
yeah.
all that before when they had the makeup, but
Sure, right.
and I want
uh,
to say you guys
You would
played.
think she would know, right?
yeah.
I want to say you guys played Bandstand a couple times, didn't you?
Nah, we didn't. We did, a few lower budget music shows, but not bandstand.
Never.
Now, how did you guys come up with Kicks with an X? Where'd the name come from?
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, we started out as the Shoes, Shooze, and that there was another band called the Shoes in the Midwest, uh,
Yes, yes,
called Shoes.
yes, I've
And
heard
they
of
had
them.
and they had songs on the radio, so we had to change it. We changed it to the Generators, and we recorded the first record under that name, and then we found out the Generators was used, and we had to change it right at the last minute. So right, they were finishing up the artwork for the album cover, and the guy comes down. We were all up at the record company at that point, and he comes into the room and goes, um, you can't use that name. You got to come up with something else. And we all looked at each other and like, and Donnie just blurted out, let's call it Kix, Kix. And we just kind of went, Okay. Like we have nothing better. And so it was kind of like that. That's how we
Turned
came up.
out perfect though, you know,
Well, yeah, yeah.
really perfect.
In
So,
hindsight.
right, only in hindsight. So, at some point I read about, so the great white manager said, why aren't they releasing
Wait,
Don't Close Your Eyes as a single?
Yeah, that was yeah, at the end of at the end of touring for Blow My Fuse, we were on the Tesla Great White tour,
oh,
and yeah, we played
It's a
Don't
big
Close Your
tour.
Eye.
that's like
Yeah.
Ozfest before Ozfest was a thing.
Yeah, that's a big tour.
So every night, we play that song, and it wasn't a single. So he one night our manager was there also, so he was talking to our manager, and he goes, how come they never released that as a single? And at that point, Atlantic already said that after the Tesla Great White tour, we're supposed to start thinking about the next record. So they were, they weren't going to give us any more tour support, and our so our manager told Alan Niven that Atlantic was like, the record was done, and he goes, oh, they'd be crazy not to release that. He goes, you mind if I say something to him? And at that time, he was Great White's manager and Guns N' Roses manager.
Oh,
Oof.
So
Yeah,
so
so he carried a lot of weight, obviously.
yeah,
maybe
so
consider
he gave
Yeah.
Atlantic a call, and a week later they were they were releasing "Don't Close Your Eyes," and it just took off after
Yeah,
that.
that's the big hit. I hate to say with bands when they have the big hit, it's usually the song I don't really care for. But I was
Right.
on the bus with some of the people today and our staff, and I played them not blow my fuse, Rock Your Face Off, which is one of my favorite Kick songs. And I said, but the song you probably heard was,
da da da.
Don't Close Your Eyes. And she's like, oh yeah, I've heard that, you know.
I
So
know it's just weird. I'll be on an airplane, and a stewardess will be
Recognize you.
interested. Well, no, she'll say, "What band are you in?" And they'll kind of look puzzled when I tell them, and then they'll say, "Do you have any hit songs?" And I'll mention, then I'll say, "Don't Close Your Eyes," and they go, "Oh,
Oh,
right." Oh.
right. I do the same with LA Guns. I'll tell people I love LA Guns. Rip and Tear. Uh, Goodbye to Jane. What happened to Jane? Oh yeah, I've heard that song. So
Right, it's always the ballad that
yeah,
they.
the ballad all the time. Now you guys were pretty big in Japan, correct?
Oh,
Yeah, in fact, well, "Don't Close Your Eyes" got us to Japan because that was like '89. We went there, and we we had no idea of what to expect. So we flew over there, and we get to the airport, and we were like completely burnt out because it's like what a 17 hour, or not 17, 14 hour plane
That's
ride
a
or
long
something.
flight,
like
man.
yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Ugh.
So we get
Ugh.
off, and our eyes are all bloodshot, and we're like, oh, and we come out, and there's this crowd with kicks, with banners and stuff. So like maybe 200 kids waiting for us at the
Nice.
airport. So that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, Japan has always been a big, big,
Rock
big,
City.
big
Yeah.
rock place. I
I
mean,
mean, Bon Jovi played there in like '84.
Yeah,
Japan loves their music. I mean, it's something, really is.
yeah,
So then by 1991, you kind of were, I read in your bio, Hot Wire, and then the band was kind of
Eh.
falling apart a little bit, would you say?
yeah. I mean, Hotwire. I mean, Blow My Fuse was such a success.
Such big band, great album, great album.
We figured Hotwire would take us to
I might have
you
to
know.
listen to that album when I get home now.
Yeah, I've been turning Steve on to Kicks a little bit, so.
Oh yeah.
He's only what? How old are you?
23.
He's 23.
Oh wow.
So but he's like, I think your mom was. He likes jazz, opera, rock,
Metal,
pretty
the
much a little bit of
Broadway
everything,
stuff.
Broadway.
Ugh.
So he likes everything. But so things were kind of
Well, at first we started off with a bang when that album came out because you know they put us over onto East West, which is part of Atlantic, but it's a smaller label, and so we were like the top band on that label. So we were getting all kinds of attention. They were taking care of us, and then as soon as we got going, Nirvana came out
Yep.
and sort of took the wind out of the sails.
Speaking
Um,
of Nirvana,
They did that to a lot of
uh,
a
did
lot of
did you ever get to meet those people or
nah, no, I never did.
Yeah, there's always that rock
band
grunge thing.
that
People,
yeah.
what was that song by Steve Rochelle? I can't remember his band where they did the kind of put down the
Oh, tough.
grunge.
Was it tough?
I think Tough, that was it. Yeah. So I kind of had that same belief,
And
unfortunately. But
what
so that kind of took the wind out of the sails, and what happened then?
Well, we started having, it caused tension within the band, and we were really frustrated, and um, yeah, there was things going on at that point, and I decided, I just it was one show I was on stage playing, and it just this thought hit me like I can't do this anymore. It's like I felt like I was faking it at that point. So I started looking for another something else, and I happened to stumble. Well, I reached out. I was reaching out to Tammy Downs from Faster Pussycat because I was looking for someone to write some songs with, and it just so happened my guitar tech was working for them at the time, and I called my guitar tech to get a hold of Tammy, and he was sharing a room with Eric Stacy at the time. And so Eric Stacy got
Eric
wind that I
Stacy.
was on the phone, and he goes, "Oh, let me talk to him." So,
Steve is
so
wondering who
I'm
Eric
trying to
Stacy is.
trying to
He's trying
think
to.
think of that
oh,
name.
he's the bass player for Faster Pussycat back in the old
Ah,
days. So anyway, I ended up hooking up with Eric instead of Tammy. But
Okay.
Eric came out to my house in up in Hagerstown. We wrote a bunch of several songs together, and I ended up flying out to L.A. over the course of the next few months. This was at the end of '92, and put this band together with Eric. Pat Mozingo from Junkyard on drums.
Oh yeah, yeah, Junkyard.
Yeah, and this singer that was like nobody's ever heard of him, but man, he was so good. He was like a cross between Paul Rogers and Chris Robinson. He had
Okay.
this really soulful voice, and
That's one
so
of Steve's favorite,
Paul
Paul Rogers.
Rogers.
Yeah. He
Yes.
loves,
yeah,
who doesn't, I guess.
Bad Company. Yep.
Yeah, everybody loves him. What was, do
yeah,
you remember his name or no?
yeah. It was his official name was Adam White, but his nickname was Rail.
Okay.
That's what he went by.
Okay.
But any, but anyway, so we recorded a four-song demo at early '93, and I came back from recording that demo, and finally told those the guys in Kicks that I was leaving because I finally had something to leave the band for. So that's when it was March of '93.
Okay.
I
And
moved
what
out.
was the name of that band?
It started out as the Rhythm Slaves,
Rhythm Slaves,
and
Catfish. Yeah.
yeah, and then it turned into Catfish because
Okay.
we got rid of Eric Stacy, and Rhythm Slaves was his name.
You
So
had
yeah,
to do it.
You
Okay.
had that.
Now, in '94, you came back for a kick show, right? A couple kick shows, or
I came back to record.
okay, they called you back.
Yeah, in fact,
Usually,
yeah, for show business. So
Show
so
business, right?
so
Okay,
they just hired me as
good
an
album.
outside guitar player, and the funny thing is, I got paid more for doing that record than I did for anything that I ever did in that band. So it's like, man, I should have quit the band a long time
And
ago.
and who was your guys' producer when you were with Atlantic?
What every album had a different producer.
Like your first record was
Was Tom Allen,
okay.
did Judas Priest, and
Yeah. Wow.
Big name producers over here.
then Cool Kids was Pete Solly, who did the Romantics. I think he did a Motorhead record too.
Hmm.
And then the third record was Beau Hill, who did Rat.
Hmm.
That was his claim to fame. And Blow My Fuse was Tom Tom Werman, who
Okay.
who he did some of the he did like Cheap Trick and Ted Nugent, and I mean he did so many great
Wow.
records. And
Well, he
then
did a great job on that album, I think. The
yeah,
sound is phenomenal.
Because
yeah, I loved him.
for me, I always thought the producers went kind of uncredited.
The
Yeah,
producers can go uncredited at times. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
when you think of producers, the first name you think of is darn Bob Ezrin
Bob Ezrin, yeah, big name.
from or Mutt Lang if you're getting technical, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we always that was our dream producer was to
Mutt
get Mutt Lang. Yeah, after Highway to Hell. I mean that was
and
like
and you know
that that defined our sound at the time.
and you know who he was married to, don't you? Or who he produced in the country world? Shania Twain, of course.
Right. He knew how to produce a
Which
commercial, I don't want to say pop album, but
it's
like Def Leppard to me, I love Def Leppard, and they're kind of on the popish side, but you got to make money, right? I mean,
Right. I know. In fact, I thought Highway to Hell was such a great produced record, but it wasn't overproduced.
no.
But then after that, everything he did got more produced and more produced.
Right.
a
If
lot
So
every band that I love stick to
one producer.
playing the songs I want to hear and everything, they never have anybody,
You know,
I want all rarities by the Stones. I know they got to play Honky Tonk Woman, Jumpin' Jack, but I've
da da da
seen
da
them
da.
so many times, and then it's like I want to hear songs that nobody knows, but then that's when they get up and go to the bathroom or
One
whatever.
of one
So
one
yeah,
of, one of my
I understand.
one of my favorite producers is Rick Rubin because
oh yeah, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's currently the kind of big. He's always been
he's
big.
always been
He's really big now.
who did
Yeah, when I was in Rhino Bucket before we did the first, well, actually when we did the first record
hmm
that I played on,
yep.
uh, we had some interest from Rick Rubin at the time.
Nice.
And then when you were a member of Rhino Bucket, who was it that ended up producing you?
Uh, Good question.
Who
We never had anything. Well, they had before I was in the band, they had what's his name? I knew that was going to go out of my head. It was, um, the guy that did he was from Memphis. I don't know. It'll come back to me,
Okay,
but
yeah, it'll come back to you as you're going along. So come, you had kind of a rebirth in 1998, and kind of did a 2003 reunion. Tell us about your kind of rebirth in 98.
um,
You
you,
came out of some trouble,
oh
some,
yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I went through a big thing. I got arrested and went to jail for a little bit, and got in and went into rehab after that. I came out of jail and went into rehab, um, and got sober. And I spent, I would say, a year between rehab and a sober living situation. So I took that whole year to try to get my life back together, and yeah, that was kind of a turning point.
yeah, well, congratulations. I didn't want to bring it up,
But
but I
yeah,
Oh
just
yeah,
kind of I knew about the rebirth and I figured you'd get into it. But
you know,
thank you for sharing and congratulations to you on that.
Well, that was one of those situations where at the time it felt like a horrible thing was happening, but that's
How
another thing
many
in hindsight it was the best thing that could have happened.
You had a question, Steve?
how many albums did Mutt Lange end up doing for AC/DC? Like three?
I he did well I know he did Back in Black
Ugh.
Back in Black.
as far as well
He's
as
just.
Highway to Hell, but
Mhm.
I'm not
I think he
sure.
was on the Money Talks record too, I think.
Did he? I can't remember.
So
I'm so old. I got to tell people I saw when I at the Aragon Ballroom. I think the first time I saw AC/DC with Bon Scott as an opening act.
At the air. Oh yeah.
You know the Aragon, right? We're in the Chicago area up here. I was
Right.
born and raised in Chicago, so pretty much every weekend I'm on the Lawrence bus
so
heading to the Aragon Ballroom for something or another.
Right. My parents are from Gary.
Are they? Okay. Yeah, we're not too far from there. We're right outside of
Yeah.
that's
Chicago, and
that's Jackson territory is
yeah,
what that is.
Jackson family. Uh,
Right.
now, um, so Rhino Bucket, I just started listening to recently. I think
And
that's
I
they sound
and
great.
I had said
And
when
I turned Steve onto a little bit
what
of
did
it,
I did I say that
Sounds like AC/DC, but that's what you guys were going
the
for,
Bon
right?
Scott, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was major influence.
I mean,
But those
that's
guys, I was a Rhino Bucket fan back in like their first record came out in 90, about 1990, and I remember we were playing somewhere, and the Atlantic rep came backstage with a box of CDs, like promotional CDs,
Okay.
and that was one of the CDs was Rhino Bucket, and I grabbed it and took it home and I put it in, and it was like, man, I love these guys.
yeah.
So
I
when we were
like them. Yeah.
doing recording Hotwire out in LA, I remember looking through the paper. Rhino, well, I got to see where Rhino Bucket's playing, and we went out and saw them twice, I think, during that time. So yeah, I became friends with them then, and kept in touch with them through the years.
Okay. And they asked you to join at some point.
Yeah, in fact, well, during the 90s when I was out in LA, I was playing in a blues band, and
Okay.
Reeve, the bass player for Rhino Bucket, was the bass player in this blues band. So
Okay.
so I kind of, we
Connections of connections.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. Now, before we continue, I want to tell my kick story. You
Okay.
might not remember this show. I think you were part of the band. Wakanda, Illinois, Deacon something. It was kind of an all-day thing. LA Guns was, I think, after you guys. Do you remember that?
Uh, was it outdoor?
It was outdoor, yeah.
Was it like a um man, we did so many shows. Did it have something to do with some kind of like a Harley
It
dealership?
might have, but I just remember I come on, I'm going to really see LA Guns. So I came a little later, but you guys came, but Kicks came on. I never really heard Kicks too much. And then when I saw it live and Steve jumping around, I'm like, holy, these guys are fantastic, really. And ever since then, I've been in love with Kicks. I've seen you guys at the Arcada in
Which
St. Charles.
again we
Uh,
had Ron Onesti on the
yeah, we
show
had the
too.
owner. You might
Yeah.
have met the owner, Rhino Nesty, when you played there, probably. But yeah, ever since then, I try to talk to people. Go see this band Kicks. They're freaking amazing. Do you still keep in contact with Steve?
Yeah, yeah, occasionally.
Okay.
Mostly, well, I go back to Maryland every once in a while, so you know, well, I don't really run into him, but yeah, I still talk to him here and
Seems like a nice guy. I mean, he just the action he does on stage. It's like holy cow, and he's not a young pup, but he's unbelievable. I don't know how
Well,
he does it.
then again, Brian Johnson's not a young pup either. Yeah.
Right, but Steve has just got the energy. Any possibility of a reunion with Kicks at some point, or no?
nah, because
No.
I, you know, Steve was the one that I mean he's completely done with it because his voice at the end, he was starting to struggle a little bit trying to hit the, because I mean, he
That
was young
happens.
when he
Right.
did all those songs like Cold Shower and stuff, but
Yeah.
and also he had like horrible uh, neuropathy in his feet, and it was really painful for him to jump around at the end.
And
So
he jumped around a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you can see why there would be a problem. Now, tell us about any future plans. I saw something, maybe it was wrong information or something about Rhino Bucket May 6th, 2027.
Oh, actually, I'm no longer in Rhino Bucket.
Oh, okay. Well, they're playing. So what about
Yeah.
your future plans? Yeah.
Um.
Just
Well.
what do you got going?
Um. Uh. Besides playing here and there, I do recording. I'll play on people's records and stuff. But there's this band we got together to raise money for these sober livings up in around Hagerstown, Maryland, and at first we just did it for fun and to raise the money. It's me, Brad Divins,
Yeah.
Shannon Larkin, and Bob Bob Perry.
Okay.
And so we were doing these benefit shows like once a year. Well, we did two of them, and then we decided to name the band because we didn't have a name. So we named it the Bees because it's Bob,
Okay.
Brad, Brian, and Shannon. So BBBS, we just call it B apostrophe S.
Okay.
So
And we did an actual show this past summer in
Oh,
June.
cool.
So and we're
so
starting.
did you play on anybody's records that I would have?
Um,
Besides Kicks and Rhino Bucket, which you've heard already.
Right.
I don't know, just
Just some indie records.
yeah, or like so artists like they'll say, "Hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to play on this?" And they'll send me the track, and then I'll record a
Okay.
solo or something, and I'll send
Oh,
it back. But
um,
I'm trying to think. There was which was really weird. This artist called Thor,
Thor.
who's really like this heavy guy. I mean, heavy sounding. And I remember the guy that I was friends with the producer, and he asked me if I wanted to play on it, and I go, "Oh, send me the track, let me hear it." And when he sent it to me, it was this really, I mean, it sounded like Danzig or something. And I
oh,
thought, man, what am I gonna play on that? Because I don't, I'm really a kind of a blues influenced
Yeah, blues, rock.
country rock.
Yeah.
I'm not a metal player, so I ended up doing I just came up with a solo, and it worked.
what I
But that's kind of kind of a, what I the kind of things is that I do that I find interesting. I also played on there is this album Eddie Spaghetti from the Super Suckers.
I
He
know
did
the Super Suckers. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a record with this guy named Frank Myers, and called Spaghetti and Frank, and they had me play on several songs on that record. In fact, they did two Kicks covers.
I'll
They
have to
did
look that up.
they did Heartache and The Kid on that
Okay.
record.
um and
Now, oh, you had a question. I'm sorry.
what I like to do with usually guitar players is get their Mount Rushmores for guitar players, drummers, producers, singers, what have you.
So, who would your Mount Rushmore of guitar players be? Joe Perry, I'm assuming.
No, no, I wouldn't say Joe Perry. Uh, I'd say Billy Gibbons.
Okay.
Ooh, and we just lost his bandmate recently.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're all both gone.
Right.
Um, it doesn't matter how many.
Who? No, not a bit.
In this case,
Well, he likes to limit it to four, but that's okay.
Four? Okay. Let's see.
but,
Billy Gibbons,
but we'll throw some honorable mentions in there too.
Dickie Betts.
Dickie Betts is the
Uh,
element, really? Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I can't mention Dickie without Dwayne
Wayne
Allman.
Allman. Yep.
I mean, he's my favorite slide player of all times. Um, oh, wow, man, there's so many good guitar
Yeah,
players.
there is. I mean,
Um,
Eddie, no?
nah, I was not an Eddie fan.
Okay.
I mean, he's great, but
Of
B
course, right. Everybody's got their own thing, you know.
BB and Lucille probably up there somewhere.
not BB, but Freddie King.
Okay.
His supposed brother, but not really.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Texas thing.
Okay.
Oh, so like the Ray-Von, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Johnny Winter, Stevie Ray Vaughan, yeah.
yeah,
One of our favorites, I always mention the people, but Rory Gallagher has always been one of my favorites.
yeah.
I think he's fantastic. So great. He was so
Well,
great. Yeah.
he had that energy.
He
He was,
did.
yeah,
Yeah. Before we wrap it up, I just wanted to mention for what I see from your Facebook page, you're a big animal lover. I could see from some of
yeah,
your posts, and you did
yeah.
something with
I'm watching
animals.
I'm watching the hummingbirds outside my window right now.
You did something with uh, animal
Oh,
rescues or
no, I worked at a vet
vet.
clinic
Okay.
for like 12 years, my early sobriety.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're a big animal lover. Okay.
that was a fun job working with animals.
Yeah, animals are great. I just wanted to mention that to the audience that besides being a big time rock and roller, Brian is also a big animal lover. So,
And
uh,
the cool thing about that pet clinic job, it was in West LA,
Hmm.
and it was kind of the pet clinic to the stars.
oh,
And the clients, I mean, I'd go out to, like, I was the one that we carried these walkie talkies, and they call me every time like a client would bring their pet in, and I'd go up front and get the animal and take it back. And man, some of the people that I met on that during that time, it was crazy. I mean, I'd go out to get a, and it was funny because I'd always walk out and I'd be concentrating on the animal, and I wouldn't even notice who was holding the animal. And one time I was taking this dog back, and I looked. It was like one of those little Scotty dogs.
Hmm.
So I saw the guy's shoes, and I didn't think anything of it, and I just took the dog and started going back. And this other girl that works there, she goes, "Did you see who that was?" And I go, "No." And he go,
Who was it?
That was Leonard Nimoy."
wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Fuck.
But I got to meet him later on because he came back to pick up, and I
Okay.
took his dog out the back and put it in his car for him.
Who
Cool.
who else were some of your uh
Any other big name stars? I'm assuming a lot. Yeah.
yeah, considering it's LA, yeah.
Oh yeah, well Betty White was a client.
Wow.
She was in there all the
Oh
time, and
yeah, because from what I heard, she was an animal lover too.
yeah. So I used to take her dog food out to her car and put it in her trunk, and uh, man, I'm trying to Ted Danson
Okay. Wow. You're right. A
and
lot of big name clients for.
For
Rick Springfield.
oh, okay.
Um, what's the good drummer for the Doors?
Oh, John
Something.
Densmore.
Yeah, yeah, he was a client, and he was a friend of the main vet there, and he used to come back and just hang out in the back. Um, Adam Sandler,
Wow.
just all kinds
Geez.
of people.
No
Jesus.
kidding. Wow.
Whoa.
Well, I just want to thank you again for this has been such a big pleasure. I know I love Kicks, and we're a small show, and we really appreciate that you agreed to come on and give some of your time. And I'm a huge fan, and Steve will be a huge fan.
Once I
But
get the
I want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for coming on to the show and sharing some stories.
Yeah, you're welcome. I forgot to mention, I was just at this record release party last night for a band that I played on their record, uh,
Oh,
called Rebel uh, Rebels Opera.
okay.
So I played slide on a song on the record.
Well, I'm
They
glad
were-
to hear that you're still doing stuff.
Yeah, and they're a rock band. They were a young rock band. They had that whole AC/DC, Rhino Bucket,
Okay.
Broken Teeth sound.
Rebel Opera. Okay.
Rebels Opera.
What is it?
Rebels Opera.
Rebels Opera. Okay, we'll take a look at that. I always try to write things down and look into some other new bands or such like that. So,
Yeah.
but thank you very
Thank you.
much. It was really a privilege for me to have you on, and we want to thank you again, Brian. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You have a good rest of the day. Thank you very much.
You too.
Bye bye.